Right. Good morning then. Today our class is about how to write a curriculum vitae or a CV, right? The full form of the CV, as you can see on the screen there, is curriculum vitae. What does a CV contain? Now, a CV is a precise information about your details. Now, what are these details? These details, and the CV is fundamentally a professional document. You have to understand this. A CV is a professional document. What is a professional document? Something which you use to introduce yourself in the professional sphere, right? Professional sphere. That is to say, if you are into a business, you are into a job, you're going to apply for an academic position, you require a CV, a curriculum vitae. Now, this is also called, in many places, they ask you to send a detailed biodata, bio-data. It's the same thing, right? But nowadays, everybody writes a CV. And then you can also be asked in a different form to send a detailed resume, R-E-S-U-M-E, detailed resume. All of them mean the same thing, that your professional information is required. Now, what is the general format of a curriculum vitae? So for your employer to know about you, they need to know your name, right? Very often, the father's name is also included because, there might be two Amrit Sens, so there might be a confusion. So son of or daughter of is often used. Then we use the address. Now, this is the address for communication. Please always remember that your CV is not something which is cast in iron. It can change as you get upgraded, as you change jobs, right? So the address is the address for communication. Then comes your telephone number. Now, obviously, nowadays we do not use, landlines. So your mobile number is the one which is preferred. Now, as you go along, many of you do have more than one mobile number. But please remember that very often your company will give you a separate mobile for your business dealings. Please do not use that mobile number. The mobile number which you will use, and that is why you should not change the one basic number that you have. This is your personal telephone number, which cannot be monitored or where you can talk personally, right? Now, the email ID, of course, you will have to give. But again, it is useful to have a personal email ID, right? Where you can, give your where you can talk to other potential employers. If you give your official email ID of X company, if they want, they can see what you are doing, right? Please remember something. You are young, impressionable people, right? Many of you have Facebook accounts. Many of you do have other forms of social media, LinkedIn, and you have Instagram. Please remember that all these data are hackable and accessible if really companies want. And with phishing and bank scams going rampant, it is important that you protect your information, your photographs, and do not open this up for anybody to see. Also remember that nowadays in the US and the UK, Facebook accounts are mined. Mined is they will check your 10 years of Facebook posts to find out what you have been doing. So companies often profile your Facebook accounts, right? So be careful what you post. right? Be careful about this, right? Do not share sensitive information, any kind of intimate photographs on your social media accounts, because they might be checked later on. Of course, you will have to give your date of birth. That is mandatory. Then comes this question of academic qualifications. So the academic qualifications, for the first few years, your entire career will have to be given, starting from your madhyamik, uच्च madhyamik. Say if you are applying to a school, this academic qualification is the most important. So board, university, subject, year, division, and if there can be another column which will talk about distinctions received. Say you've received the outstanding student award, or you have been placed first in the board, then mention that. Ultimately, the CV is about selling yourself, right? So why am I better than other people? So if you have any such information about a distinction, please put that within the CV and the academic qualification. So for schools, academic institutions, starting from the madhyamik, uच्च madhyamik, the graduation, post-graduation, MPhil, PhD, whatever. Remember, we are not talking just about today. We are also talking about the CV, which will come in useful later on. Now, then comes experience. And you begin from the present employment, right? So always when you are employed, and there are a lot of people who will go on and do very well in their careers later on. I will probably not be around when you join your jobs. I would say not be around in the sense that I'll not be, taking your classes. But please remember this class as something which will help you in your later endeavors. The experience starts with the present job, right? So you had 5 jobs. You start with the job you are last employed in, right? Because that is the present profile that you are enjoying. Remember this word, profile, right? Then comes skills. Now, this is for a professional job. Say you've gone on, somebody has gone on to become, say, a manager in X side. So what are his specific skills? Man management, for example, supply chain management, for example, or for that matter, you can run a specific program. Those of you who are in social work, your special skills might be in rural education, children's education. It can be in empowering women and so on and so forth. So your particular skill sets. Don't worry, I'll show you what this means through a few professional CVs. Then comes languages known, right? Languages known will give you an idea, so that you can be placed in, say, Rajasthan also, you can be placed in South India also. So we all know 3 languages, right? But if, say, there are people in the Chinese department who are attending these classes, or in the Japanese department, it is important to give their qualification in the Chinese or the Japanese examination. By the way, for all of you here, learning a foreign language is always a very, very good idea. It enlarges your scope of employment. Please remember this. So if you can take a diploma in a language, so even people from social work, from other science departments, can then work, say, in Germany or in France, if you know the language. This is particularly something which you will not probably want to mention, hobbies and interests, right? This is not given in a professional biodata. Achievements, if you have any specific distinction, achievement, say you've won an award, if there are people from the physical education department, for example, you have won a national award, this goes in here. And then finally, you can have references. References are people whom you know, but people who are well placed, right? So if you are applying for a school job, your professors of your university or the headmaster that you know. If you are applying for a professional career, say you've done an IIM degree in management and you are applying, say, for example, in Cognizant or Tata Consultancy Services, then a good idea would be to give references of people who are placed in private companies in good positions. But remember this, that please do not just give anybody's name. A reference is important in the sense that that person must be able to certify you. So very often I receive a lot of reference letters asking whether I know this student or that, what kind of a student he was, what kind of a character he had. So give the references of a teacher or a professor only who will respond. Say you have given my name and I say, oh, throw it in the dustbin. No need to bother about this, or I don't want to reply to that email. Then your job might be at stake. So take the reference of a person whom not only do you know, but who will respond to the reference request. And the higher the reference, the better your chances of getting jobs. So once again, let's come back to the final format once again: name, address, telephone number, email ID, date of birth, academic qualifications. Now, academic qualifications, you can use the box, and I will show you how other people also use the bulleted form. Experience, beginning from the present employment, skills, languages known, achievements, references. These are what your CV should be like. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to do a hands-on kind of a thing and show you 4 CVs. Now, why 4 CVs? The first CV is my own CV, right? So this is an academic CV. Now, not because I want you to know how good I am or how bad I am, but because I have my CV in my hand and there are no privacy issues. And I've also sought permission of 3 people who are working in different companies, right? One who is settled abroad so that I can see what an American CV looks like. And 2 other people, one of whom who works in my company and my brother's company, and one who has given kindly okayed that I can show you that person's CV. Some of these details are fictitious. I've changed the phone numbers. So please respect their privacy as well. So let me first take a look at my own personal CV so that it gives you an idea of what the CV, what an academic CV looks like. For those of you who are wanting to apply to an academic place, you want to be a schoolmaster, a professor in a university, a college lecturer, this is how you do your CV, right? So you see, I've turned myself the profile. I don't use CV, I just use profile. And this is my name, sex, date of birth. Now my present designation, right? My residential address, phone number, email. So I have given the landline number, but this is my own personal number. Please don't call me, by the way, using that number, right? Then comes education, right? Academic qualifications, I've just written education. So, I did not give, because, I am applying for professorial positions, no point giving what marks I got in school, right? So I have given only my higher educational qualification. So you can see the subject, you can see the institution, the year of passing, and you can see the division or class. And as I was saying, I put in another column because in academics, distinction matters. So whatever I have done throughout my career, right, I have put in. You can see that, I put in my PhD details. I've put in whatever award I have won. Then comes this professional history, right? I have termed this professional history, right? And sorry for the typo there. All right. So these are the details that I have given. This is slightly, you can tweak this, as I put, as I told you, in a professional CV, your present qualification comes first. But I've just put in my details of wherever I've worked. As you can see, I've not worked in many places. From 1998 onwards, I've been at Shantiniketan, more or less. So, but for the private sector, people who will go into the private sector, you will frequently change jobs. So that CV will come in later. Then, I've put in the awards and distinctions. Please remember that awards and distinctions, you cannot put in just like that you won the best recitation award in your locality program. That is not to be given, by the way. So please provide awards, distinction, extracurricular activities, only and only which are suitable for your professional field. So if you are a sportsman, you are applying under the sports quota, then your award and distinction will be you have won the short put award in a regional competition or a national competition, right? So in our case, for example, whatever academic work that I have done, right? Then comes my research projects. These are part of academic CVs. Not everywhere you will find this. Then you can find whatever seminars I have gone to, right? Because these are important. And then I have my publications, books and edited volumes. You have the articles in books, the articles in journals. Please remember that even we cannot give everything. We have to give only a few that we have done. So these are whatever is given. And courses taught. So whatever courses I have taught during my career, right? People from English will recognize many of these courses, right? Innovative teaching methods. So this is, why I should be taken more rather than any other candidate. And then I have given the details of my research scholars who have been awarded PhDs, right? So that is my CV, right? So once again, let me get back. What have I put in? The name, sex, date of birth, designation, residential address, phone number, email. These are fundamental information. Then comes education. Then comes professional history, awards, distinctions, research projects, overseas seminars, publications, articles, and articles in journals. And then followed by courses taught, and finally by courses taught, innovative teaching methods, and research scholars. So this is my professional resume. I'm sorry, this is not a very updated resume. This is only till 2018. After that, I've not really updated my resume as such. So that is my biodata as well. Right, so this is the academic biodata that you write. So if you're applying for a school, you will put in your B.Ed, you will put in the courses taught in schools, the classes taught, special responsibilities that you've been a class teacher in this particular class, you have taken part in teacher education programs, and so on and so forth, right? Now, next comes the important bit is the CVs where you have professional CVs, right? Now, this is a gentleman who works in my brother's company, right? You see what he has done is given the photograph. You see how a professional CV is done. You see, he's sort of, there are websites, there are people who actually design your CV. Now, this is his name, email, and phone number he has given with his photograph. And he has given his information that we put in 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, date of birth, languages known, contact address, and so on and so forth. So he's given this information about his particular details right at the beginning. Then comes, because now his importance is what he has done, right? Once he is into the private sector, he is into the business, he is going to give us what are his key skills: customer service, supply chain management, manpower management, right? So what is his experience? How many years? This is very important. Logistics, procurement, vendor development, and so on and so forth. So where is he currently associated with? He's currently associated with this program, right? And then he has given us certain graphics: key skills, visionary leader, business strategist, risk manager, team player. Now, you see, please go back time and time again to this CV. This is very interesting in the way he's not just used words, he's also used images, right? So if you can do this, and this is a CV which you should look at for your professional career, right? Keep this at the back of your mind when you prepare your own CV, right? So highly focused and so on and so forth, right? Then he gives us his core competencies. So what is his specialization, right? So wealth of experience, he has said, and given us a kind of a bar graph almost: supply chain management, customer service, demand planning, warehouse management. So he's selling himself to the company, saying, look, I have these many experiences, and these are the areas where I have shown skills. Then comes his organization experience. As I said, for a professional biodata, right, when you are working somewhere, right, your biodatas come in different phases. One is where you do not have any experience. Second is where you have experience. Third is where you are consolidating yourself. Fourth, you have reached the very top, right? So he said organizational experience is this, right? Since September 18, what are his roles? He has given us the roles, and you see how he's used this bullet form for his CV, right? So he's given us the highlights of what he has done, right? Now, when companies will interview him, they will interview him based on these, right? Then comes where he was earlier, right? So he was at Bacardi, India from 16 to 18, and he's given the achievements and highlights. Then obviously he's into beverages, it seems. So 15 to 16, he was the national operations manager and the delivered KRAs, right? And then earlier, his first experience maybe, right? So the highlights. So he's given his work experience in bulleted form, right? Then comes, finally, you see, he's given his academic details, because when you are working, this is a mid-level manager, right? He's reached some kind of status. So he's giving his professional experience earlier, and then his academic details. But when you are applying for a school job, your academic details are more important than your professional experience. So academic details, you see, he has given only and only his managerial or management education. He's not given his school education. He's not given his graduate details. He's just given, he's given his graduate details. He's a BE, and then he's done a PGDM in foreign trade from this place, right? And he has also, after he has got a job, what education has he got? So he's done a certification in supply chain management from this place, right? And he's also given IT and other skills. So he's well versed with this program. He's given keynote speaker and a project member here and there, right? So this is finally another structure of a professional CV. Remember this structure, please. And you can, later on, those of you who go into professional management, social work students we can take this kind of a CV as your something that you can look forward to. So also, the courses, there are online courses that you can do, which will help boost your particular productivity. So now you realize, if you see a good CV, then you realize what are the degrees, what are the programs, what are the qualifications that you should increase. Now, this is another fictional CV, right? And this is also a professional CV, right? You see, he started off with the name, the number, and these are fictional details, by the way. Don't worry, they don't bother. This is not a real name. Somebody's CV has changed. Now, I have close to, and right at the beginning, he said, what are the sectors that they have worked in, right? So, once again, people who are studying agriculture, say, or social work or professional careers, if you are in sciences, you will have these many experiences. Experience comes first. Then comes, once again, key skills. You remember, in this particular key skills, he used a graphic. Here, they're using a tabular form, right? Financial modeling, econometric modeling, stock valuation, client interaction, right? By the way, this is particularly a student of economics. So if you are there in the economics department, you can take a look at this CV, what he or she has done, right? Then range of experience. Once again, from the present, say, general manager, and she's talked about her portfolio, right? And what she has done in bulleted form. The bulleted form is very important. Then comes this to this, this to this, associate director. And so she's basically giving us the summary of what the roles have been, right? And then comes, once again, you see, when you're writing a professional CV, your educational and professional qualifications come last. So this is the management degree, this is the MSc degree, this is the BSc degree, and the awards and scholarships. One that have been deleted out, but if you have any awards and scholarships, say your company has given you the best employee award, your company has said the best deliverable award, you've won something in a scholarship in the national scholarship in your undergraduate years, then please provide them in your CV. Right. One last CV that I will take a look at. This is somebody who has been educated abroad, but works in India, say, for example. So once again, the email, which is the most vital part, the address, the phone number. You see, for present day employees, nobody sends letters. Only, government jobs demand your residential address. Everything is done over email. So this is the important thing to give. This is the important thing to give. This is immediately email, phone number, and of course, you can also give the contact address, right? And then supply chain and capacity planning and so on and so forth. So these are the skill set that they know. I can't understand half of it because I do not have that kind of skill. So high impact results that they have produced, right? Then comes professional experience, right? Once again, professional experience, and then comes education, right? So the MBA, the MS, the Bachelor of Technology. So when you are into the professional sector, you give your experience from the education from the bachelor onwards. When you are applying for your first jobs, you will have to give it from the school level onwards, and then technical skills or awards. So once again, let me come back to what I started off with, right? The curriculum vitae has one set of information which will give you how to contact, right? So name, address, telephone number, email ID, date of birth, so on and so forth. Then comes for educational jobs, academic qualifications, which are very important. So academic qualifications, publications, you have courses taught, places taught, and so on and so forth. Experience, beginning from the present employment, skills, achievements, references. In this case, references have not been used because companies, they themselves have their own way of finding out references. I have also not used references for my CV actually, because, if I apply elsewhere, they will ask in the application form for 2 references, right? But in a professional CV, rather than academic qualifications, your work experience will be first. Whatever achievements in that particular job you have done, whatever award and distinction you have won, you have to put it and sell yourself. Now remember, don't consider being very grammatical. And this, you will have to put it in bullet form. So constructing and maintaining a real database, scouting potential targets. Do not say, I have constructed and maintained databases. I have scouted potential targets. This is the format you should use, right? This is the kind of language that you should use. 2 or 3 things. Do not give any superfluous information. What is superfluous information? Superfluous information, you are working, you're applying for an IT sector job, and you've said, I won the best, singing competition X in XYZ. That is not required. But for a Shongit Bhavan CV, of course, that you have had a program in All India Radio is vital work experience or vital award or distinction, right? So your CV must focus on the job that you are applying for, and you have to give information which pertains or which is specifically relevant to that particular job that you are applying for. So this is how you write your CV. Now, as a hands-on training, what you should all do is start writing. Take a look at this entire CVs that I have shown you. You have 4 successful people here, if you consider me successful, right? 4 people who have actually achieved some kind of place, and therefore you have whatever kinds of CVs that they are putting forward, right? So model yourself on these CVs. For those of you who can use graphics, use the graphics in your CV. For those of you who can't, doesn't matter at all. Because when you apply for your first job, you will not have any work experience, right? So doesn't matter. Everybody starts or begins at some point of time or the other. There, your academic qualification is important. Your award and distinction is important. Please remember that for jobs, and this is, I say to all of you, you have to figure out your skill set. You see, please remember this, that a degree at Vishwabharati is a stepping stone, but by itself, it does not distinguish you from X or Y or Z. So what? You have a BA in English honors or history honors. Thousands of people have the same degree. So how are you going to increase your skill set? You can learn a language, you can learn a specific software course, right? Nowadays, a lot of other private online platforms offer you courses. I won't name any because then it would seem I am, advertising for them. But you can go to these courses. You can take 1 or 2 courses which are not linked with your syllabus also, and get some professional skill set that is unique to you. Who knows? For example, if you've completed your graduation, you can go and do a course at Jadavpur University on counseling, right? Not only career counseling, but this is actually psychological counseling. Then you get options that you can go to a school. You can also go to a school as a counselor, right? So it is important for you to think, what am I going to do? Focus. Don't have only one focus. This is the only thing that I'm going to do. For those of you who want to go into school teaching, remember that your B.Ed is very important. For those of you who want to do college teaching, please remember that publishing or taking part in seminars is important. For those of you who want to do into private sector, remember that if you've worked as an apprentice in any company, it is very important, and then you want to do an MBA. For those of you who want to go into arts, taking part in an exhibition, for example, with your teacher, or participating in a program on All India Radio or Doordarshan, very important, right? So you have to figure out how you can be unique, how you can be better than another candidate. At the end of the day, please remember, the CV is about yourself, how you can sell your achievements, yourself to a company. Because a company will first look at your CV, then they will call you to the interview, right? So you have to design your CV in such a way that it influences or it gives the company a good idea about you, right? So that is all that I could discuss with you. Remember that I'm not exactly the most professional of people, in the sense I don't work in a private company. But since my brother and a lot of my friends do, I had requested them for some sample CVs, so that those of you who want to go into the private sector, into the professional sector, because all of you are coming from different backgrounds, you can do well in your future. So keep this class at the back of your mind, even when you finished Sem1, because that CV thing is going to haunt you for the rest of your career. So if I've made any difference in your formulating that CV, I would consider that this class has come in for some benefit for you, right? Thank you, and I would invite your questions now. Right. Any questions that you have?
So,
Yes.
about the customization and the whole format, if we are just beginners with the CV, could we just go with the first format that you give, the general format?
Yeah, that's the basic format, you see. But I am sure that when you work in a place, you will come across your colleagues also who are designing their CVs for other companies too, right? Then you can start customizing. What I've done is I've given you an idea of how customization is done, right? So you're absolutely right. When you're beginning your career, you can always fall back upon that first format.
Amrita, on point, suppose they are asking to write a CV for the typist that has been posted advertisement in Vishwabharati. So will you please also tell the covering letters that to like this that I am with reference to advertisement I am submitting a CV. Will you please illustrate this point also together?
Right, fine, no problem. Say you've been asked to submit, say, a CV for your for the post of say project assistant at Vishwabharati DST project. So it has been said that all CVs should be sent. All CVs should be sent to the registrar Vishwabharati. So you will write to the registrar Vishwabharati Shantiniketan. As I said, dear sir, comma, subject, all on the left aligned, subject, application for the post of project assistant, with reference to your advertisement dated XXX, advertisement number dated XXX, published in, say, the Statesman or the Telegraph. I would like to submit, or I would like to offer my candidature for the post of this. I am attaching my detailed resume or my curriculum vitae with this mail. Next paragraph, given an opportunity, I will try and do the best, or I will try and fulfill the responsibilities assigned to me. I look forward to further communication from you. Thanking you because you've said, dear sir, yours truly, your name, you have the date and your communicating address. And then the CV is given, right? Okay, the CV is a separate document, by the way. Okay, so his experience as a private tutor, Aditi Chattopadhyay has asked, no. He cannot give his experience as a private tutor. It is an experience, no doubt, but when you are working, when you're submitting your work experience or your to a professional body, you will only have to give your institutional experience, right? But say you worked for FitG, or you worked for, say, a very reputed tutorial, right? Say you work for brilliant tutorials, then you can provide that. But we generally do not, encourage that your experience of tutorials is given as part of an academic. But if you work part-time in a school, you've taken sort of classes somewhere, even voluntarily, right? Then it is always accepted, right? Aditi, I hope I have asked your question, right? What kind of CVs are asked for exams? Right now, we'll ask minimal CVs, say, for example, as Sopu pointed out, you might be asked to write the CV of a typist. There, your work experience might be you worked in, say, Bolpur College as a typist, and your typing speed is this much. We'll not ask serious business CVs at this point of time. Say, I might ask you a question, a CV as to your, applying for the post of a schoolmaster in trained graduate teacher in, say, this high school, or say for, St. Xavier School, Durgapur, right? So I will not be asking you, or the examiner will not be asking you very high professional CVs. That was given only, since I'm trying to sort of get you an idea of what different kind of CVs look like, that is why I put the professional CVs in front of you. Right, so this is Shreya. Then comes Shagorika. Is it important to follow a certain type of color, block, or fonts? The CV, you can, for the basic CV, please follow Times New Roman 12. Now, when you go in for a professional CV later on, as you saw in one of those CVs, bulleted points or highlights or graphics, you can use colors. But for a basic CV, it is, I guess, important for you to follow the fundamental form, right? The black color should be black, font should be Times New Roman. Be conservative in terms of your first CV, right? Any other questions? No? Then thank you for attending this class. The bulk of your course is more or less done, right? So we've sort of discussed what communication is, what are the different kinds of communications, problems of communication, models of communication. We've discussed how to write business letters, which is one part of your examination. We've discussed writing a curriculum vitae, which is not only part of your examination, but part of your future life as well. Now, in the next class, we will discuss how to answer comprehensions, or how to do comprehension passages. Now, please remember, the passages that you will be given in your exams are pretty easy. But I'm not going to discuss easy passages. I'm going to discuss slightly difficult passages, just in case you go in for competitive examinations like, say, the IAS or the management examinations. So I will give you the strategies of how to approach the comprehension. And then we'll have one final class where we'll wrap up and we'll discuss your questions and how to go about in the AECC final examination. That will then conclude the course. So we have 2 more classes to go. Right now, I'm then logging out. All the best to all of you once again, and have a very good day. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, the recording is still.